Got vision and destiny. Add elemental, that's chemistry. All those heroes, that's infinity. It's endgame, that's
YUGIOH peoples, welcome to my Fort Worth regional in-depth analysis. Talk about my matchups and such. I'm trying to keep the video not too long since we're about to have a format change with the announcement of the new ban list. I guess I could talk about the ban list first. As far as heroes go, ban lists don't really have too much effect on us, but with the leaving of, I guess not technically the leaving, but with rivalry and Gozen being restricted, it does give us a little bit less good options for our Dark Angel. But you can always just play Spellbound instead, and you still have, at least 4 good choices, depending on whether Rivalry or Gozen is good in the matchup you're in. Or, technically, if you're playing Dark Angel, both of them are pretty fine, unless you're playing against, like a Dark deck or something that, doesn't really care about Gozen. But yeah, other than that, I feel like, it doesn't affect our deck and overall as far as our engine goes and what our inboard wants to be and such. It does make some of our matchups a little bit easier. I would be a little bit sad to see tier go. It was an easy matchup for us to win. Just get Darklaw out there and you're pretty much usually just winning the game. And yeah, kind of sad to see that one go. I am glad to see Infonoble go. Their inboard just didn't really seem fair when you have a automatic spell trap negate that's that can negate cards like Super Poly and Droplet and stuff, and then on top of that you have 2 more spell negates, and then you have a Omni negate. I don't know, it just seems kind of ridiculous. It just basically just says if I go first and you don't draw any hand traps, I automatically win the game pretty much, even if you draw going second cards because I negate them all. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy to play against that deck. A little bit happy to see it go. Sad it had to be a soul that ended up getting a hammer, but hey, we had some Assault builds, but really the regular Omni Hero build is just plain stronger. Heroes, you can mix them with stuff. They don't mix well with stuff though, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's my thoughts for the ban list. Not really too much to say about it. Our matchups, will change. And that means that our going second cards and our side deck will change, but hey, just depends on the meta and where you are, because if you weren't playing Infonoble in your area, then there ain't much change you got to do. But yeah, for those people who were still playing Dark Angel, it'll be a little bit of change, for them. But yeah, so now back into my regional discussion. Like I said, we're gonna kind of keep it short since the new ban list came out, and yeah, it's gonna affect the way the game is played. It's going to affect deck changes and what's considered a good deck and bad deck anymore. I feel like most of the time, we're probably still gonna play against Rescue Ace and Fire Kings. Unchained got hit a little bit. We're probably still going to see that deck though. And then what was the other one? Tears being gone is just really good. And then we'll still have all that normal other stuff that we play against all the time. All right, so in the regional, I think my main thing going in was just I was if I get it drove, then I want to have Dark Cloud on the board. So we ran the 3 Vion, 3 mass change to try to make sure we always get Darklaw out there on the board. And every matchup that I summoned out Darklaw, pretty sure that I just won. I don't remember losing one match with Darklaw on the board. It was just ridiculous. Every deck feels like they need to get their graveyard rolling in order to be able to do stuff. They need cards off in there to target, to return, and all that different kind of stuff. So yeah, round 1 I played against Infonoble. I opened up double hand trap, I think, both games. He won the dice roll. And yeah, going second, I did side in my the Winged Dragon spear mode. Shout out to Blake for that idea. And yeah, it didn't end up being needed. His hands weren't very good, And yeah, I mean, well, I can't say, I don't know if his hands were very good. You know, it was no pack or anything like that. But, you know, I don't know how long he's been on the deck list. But I never really seen the deck just, you know, do nothing at all. But, you know, it is what it is. And that's how my round one went. Infonoble is, you know, well, I guess there's no need to really talk about that matchup too much anymore. I mean, we don't know if he'll still be around. I know Pac did a video saying that he's already thought about it, but who knows. But all right, then my round two was actually like my first loss. Yeah, I lost round two to Fire King Tri Brigade. So yeah, it went all the way to game three. And in game three, he went first. His inboard was only Appaloosa and Revolt set. And what did he have? He had Ash in hand, which, you know, I couldn't have known for his inboard thing. But, you know, my hand was, what was it? It was Double Ferris, Shadow Mist, Stratos, and I think that was it. It just, oh yeah, I know I had one of my increases in hand too. But I think like the main thing was I didn't draw one of my spell R-Trap cards that allowed me to do a little bit more, you know, something, no Miracle Fusion, no Poly, no A Hero Lives, no Fusion Destiny. And then also on top of that, I didn't open up any going second cards. And the Appaloosa had 3 negates on there. So, you know, I tried to bait them out, but, you know, he just allowed the Stratos to resolve. And yeah, it's just like at that point, there was no way I was going to just really be able to do anything to stop him, because I had to commit my normal summon, which means that like the Shadow Mist wasn't all that great, and you know, he could just negate over my Ferris effect, which, you know, I guess it wouldn't even have mattered, because even if I had tried to attack into it with Stratos, he still got the Revolt set, and he just banishes it and still has all 3 negates. So yeah, I was just in a really bad position, and yeah, there was just almost like pretty much no way for me to win that game. If I had just had like, I had even sided in like evenly match, what was the other card? Cosmic Cyclones and such, because of Revolt and because of the Fire King Island. I just didn't draw any of them, and yeah, we ended up losing that game. My round 3 was against Branded Despia, and yeah, it was like a, you know, your pretty normal matchup, us going back and forth. He did super poly me, and actually the game that he super poly me, I still ended up winning, because Favorite Contact is, that card is so strong inside of Heroes. Boy, that Shiny Neos Wingman gets in there. So yeah, we were able to win that, even though we got super poly there. And I think he ended up losing the match. Like a critical decision that he made was to, you know, when we were both kind of, I think it was like game 2, and we were both in a, not necessarily like, yeah, we were in top deck situation where, like, you know, there's like every single card counted, and he didn't want to waste his Mirror Jade effect in going into Stratos, and he went to attack into my Stratos with his Mirror Jade, and in a damage step to activate it on his Neos on him. So yeah, that was really, you know, part of the, you know, ultimate despise fall of him right there, you know. And I know like a lot of people don't like Honest Neos, but it actually like won me more than one game this weekend. The card was amazing, especially like if you're going second and you don't want to play into Nib, and you know there's like a certain way you can OTK and kill your opponent, you know, hey, he comes in handy right there. And just like even like the surprise factor, because a lot of people think that, you know, that we don't play it anymore, and I know a lot of people don't play it anymore, but you know, and they just go tacking all willy-nilly into your monsters, and you know, you hit them in that damage step with that Honest Neos, and then their jaw drops, because especially like if it's in time, because they just took 25 to the face, you know. Well, you know, at least almost, it feels like they almost taking 25 to the face. But yeah, Honest Neos, you know, and like I said, like one of the main things about playing it off in there is like when you're going into like your combo, you know, you're adding the vanilla OG Neos, you're usually like sending Mally and stuff to the graveyard. So if you draw Fusion Destiny off of your Graceful Charity effect, off of your you know, your Liquid Soldier and stuff, then it's like you're out of targets to necessarily send to special summon DP, unless you really want to send your Plasma, and I really don't like sending Plasma. So Honest Neos is also that card that, you know, gets that out of there. And then also, you know, Stratos, he forces out, you know, like other effects and stuff like Fenrir. Like back in the day, I used to use it to force out, you know, what's his name, Arise Heart and stuff like that. So, you know, I feel like it's a pretty good card. I still like to use it. It's one of my favorite cards in the entire deck. All right. Then my round 4, after lunch break, we came back. I sat down and played against Fire Kings again. I think like every single round I played against a different deck. It was crazy. Fire King, I guess like Fire King variant was the only deck that I really played twice. So my round 4 matchup was against Fire Kings. I think just like, you know, we already know Get Out Dark Law in this matchup. I also had Cosmic Cyclones inside of my side deck to deal with the Fire King Island. I think like the main thing on this is to try to get DPE out early and use his effect to pop the continuous spell. Don't try to pop the field spell because it just protects it. I mean, unless they don't have the protection thing for it. But then if they don't have the continuous spell out there, they're not they're not exceed summoning on your turn. Like after the first time I allowed it to happen, the first time I played against Fire Kings, never again. DPE, hit that, yeah, get rid of it, get it out of here. So, you know, I think that's like the main thing in that matchup. Use your DPE, keep them from using Island, chain to the effect because it's a continuous card. So, you know, when they activate it, if you chain DPE, pop it, they don't get the effect of it. Ash it if you have to. And then, you know, like I said, DPE, pop the continuous spell on your turn, get out Dark Law, and get out Dark Law as soon as possible. That way when they start like trying to Kieran pop and revive and all that stuff, then, you know, you cut it off right there. So yeah, that was that match. He was playing the Sinful Spoils version, and yeah, just got in there basically like Dark Law, got off in there pretty hard. My next matchup round I would believe was against Tearlaments, and the game I ended up winning in time. Our game one took a pretty good long time. I don't know, like I think, was he able to stop me from getting Dark Law on the board? I think he stopped me from getting Dark Law, and then it was like a grindy type match for both of us, and it lasted a pretty good long time. I ended up winning, but like our game around 2 ended up taking forever. No, it wasn't necessarily that it took forever. Oh no, our game 1 just took like really, really long. Eventually, like grinding out, going and doing everything and stuff, I was able to get out Shining Neo's Wingman, and he just wasn't able to get over it. And I eventually just like won that game, just like, you know, through straight damage. And then game 2, he was like, what was it? Like I could have swore when we started game 2, there was like 18 minutes left. And by the time it got to my turn, there was only like a minute or 2 left, because he didn't end up like milling like, you know, like the Tearlament cards like Happiness and all that stuff until he had already milled like 9-12 cards or something like that. And then, you know, like towards the end, you know, they start sending, you know, the Tearlament things with Beatrice and with Rhino Heart and all that stuff, and start trying to build a board. And it was just like by the time he ended up being able to do it and stuff, that like the round was over with. So I ended up winning and didn't even play. I don't even think I played my turn at all, like in game 2 at all. It was like pretty much just over. But, you know, it was a good matchup. He outed my, what did he do? He outed my Plasma. I got Plasma out on the board. And with Plasma out there, it's just like, you don't really think about none of your opponent's monsters effects and stuff. But, you know, with Tearlaments, he was still able to, you know, mill a bunch of stuff and get a big, healthy board out there. And then he summoned IP, and I didn't really think about it. I was like, oh, that's just a link too. And then the boy linked off my Plasma along with all his other stuff for Underworld Goddess. So, you know, that is a thing. I guess, like, if you play against, well, we probably won't play against Tearlaments and stuff anymore. But, yeah, just be aware of your opponent that plays IP and, you know, gets a bunch of monsters out there on the board, because, you know, they'll link your stuff out and make Goddess of the Underworld. All right, my round 6 was against Centurion. I do believe he was a inspired TCG player. Very, very good. It was a very tough matchup. That deck is just like really crazy. 1 card combo into Calamity Locks, and then a whole bunch of hand traps. It is actually like one of the decks I feared going into the tournament. So I did have like 3 Cosmic Cyclones off of there for it. And I was also packing the 2 Book of Moons and stuff for it. And, you know, apparently they have like ways to play around Book of Moon also. Because what was it? Like he used I think his name is Ethian in the graveyard and stuff. And he was trying to like dodge stuff and everything. And I think I ended up winning. Oh, he was also had like this cool ass ritual card, Saphira or something like that, that negates the effects of cards that target. So when I tried the Book of Moon, the Legalist or whatever his name is, when I tried the Book of Moon, he activated that effect, and he used a Saphira thing. It's a ritual monster that negates the effects of cards that target. So yeah, when I tried the Book of Moon, he chained that. Luckily, it had to be discarded to the graveyard for cost, and I also had the one of Called by the Grave, so I was able to negate that and then, you know, flip his monster face down so he wasn't able to Calamity Lock me. And yeah, so just be aware of that in the future. You know, Cosmic Cyclone is probably definitely, you know, the best one. There's also Ghost Ogre, you know, if you need to do that also. That might actually, like, you know, thinking about the card that he played, Ghost Ogre might have been a better decision than Book of Moon in that situation. But overall, I felt like Book of Moon was a better choice for the regional overall. Yeah, the Centurion matchup is, you know, you try your best to hand trap, you know, their normal summon or whatever, and if you can't, then, you know, you try to pop the field spell with the Cosmic Cyclone or something in order to keep them from Calamity locking you. I would say, like, if you do open up Fusion Destiny, I would just like straight up activate Fusion Destiny so that, you know, because they have to wait for you. Their effects happen in the main phase and they have to wait for you to do something before they can start doing all that stuff. So if you Fusion Destiny, at least you can get DPE out there, and then when they try to use the field spell to synchro summon, then you just, you know, pop it. Just pop it with DPE and don't allow it to happen. So yeah, that was Centurion. My round 7 match, I ended up losing. I played against Dragon Link, and yeah, he's well known, pretty in our area. Nico, shout out Team Nico. Yeah, I think he actually made like top 32 also. Dragon Link, you know, anything with Bestials in it is just a tough matchup for us overall. And yeah, I think like both games he drew double Bestial and Ash, and it was crazy. Like, very rarely do I have people ash my Infernal Rage, but he asked my Infernal Rage, and that really sucked, y'all. It really sucked. I could not get my favorite contact. And then, what was it, like game 2, I think he ashed on my Hero Lives, and that really sucks. So, yeah, it just wasn't a very pretty game when Bestials get your Mally, your Denier, and your DPE. You know, you can't do too much about it. It just is what it is sometimes. Yeah, that was my matchup, D-Link. You know, if you try to get Darklaw out there, like me, I like to hand trap, hit on the, what's his name, the Link 1 before they start getting the field spell out there and start doing crazy things with it. You know, it's kind of hard to stop like the recycling effect with Chaos Space and all that stuff. So, you know, they're probably usually going to get into that. But Romulus is also another good one to hit. You know, it just kind of depends on, you know, what route they take and what hand traps you have. My round 8 was against another player in the area. He was playing Branded Chimera. He opened up Super Poly both games. I want to say he had Super Poly both games. Round 2, I mean, like, what was it? Game 2 in particular, I guess, like, he just kind of bricked going into it. Actually, like, round 1, I mean, not round 1, but game 1, I was able to Imperm or Valor on the one, the really dark one, the Negro one, the one that adds, I think, like, it does 2 things, I think, or whatever, and I was able to hit that, and he wasn't able to, you know, do anything much the rest of that turn. But I think he super polyed me at some point, but, you know, my hand was strong enough to play through the super poly and still be able to get that game. And then game 2, he bricked and set double super poly, and, you know, it's like one of the things I always do when I know my opponent is on super poly if I have, you know, like a Hero Lives and, you know, like Stratos, or, you know, just like depending on how it is. Well, this hand in particular, I had the Ferris with the Stratos. So basically, instead of starting off with normal summon Stratos, trying to get a legit target that I really want to discard with Ferris, I just went Ferris, discard increase to put increase into my spell and trap card zone, and then you normal summon out Stratos and activate his effect to destroy spells and traps, because right then it's going to force your opponent to have the super poly there. And if they don't super poly, then you go ahead and chain the increase. And you chain the increase, get the Stratos off the board. Then the chain resolves, increase gets summoned to the board, and then Stratos will destroy 2 spell and trap cards on the board instead of 1, because now there are 2 other heroes out on the board. So that's what happened. You know, I summoned Stratos, activated his effect to destroy, you know, spell or trap cards. I told him it was non-targeting, and he asked me, I said, you know, heroes other than himself, at the moment, I get to destroy 1. And, you know, I said it 3 times. Right now, I can only destroy 1. And when he didn't chain, I chained increase tributed off the Stratos. Now he cannot super poly because I only have 1 monster on the board, and then increase summons itself and Stratos resolves, destroying both of his set super poly. So yeah, that was that. And then round 3, I ended up playing against Flunderies, another guy from the local area, and yeah, game 1, he bricked. He activated Prosperity. He couldn't draw into any way to get to Engine. He did open up with D-Shifter. So he opened up D-Shifter, Prosperity. In my hand, I had like, what was it? A Hero Lives. I know I had a Hero Lives, and then I also had Droll and Effect Veiler, and I was just like, oh, okay, these 2 cards are pretty worthless now. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to lose this game, because he played Prosperity, Chain Shifter, and I was just like, okay, well, yes, I'll pretty much just lose this game now. But it's not at all how it went. I ended up, you know, OTKing him the next turn, because I also had Mass Change in hand, so I just Hero Lives into Stratos, go add Stratos, add Honest Neos, proceed to battle phase, attack with both, Mass Change into blast, attack, damage step, Honest Neos, win the game. Game 2 was like really, really crazy. He had, you know, stuff to play and stuff this time, and yeah, he ended up getting out imping with a trap and everything. And I want to say, did he have the field spell? I don't think he had the field spell, but anyway, my hand, I opened up 3 Hero Lives, y'all. Opened up 3 Hero Lives, the Vanilla Neos, Plasma, and what was my other card? Plasma and Shadow Mist, I think it was. Yeah, so like, just remember when you play against that deck, special summon your monsters in defense mode, and try to, you know, do stuff without having to go into your link monsters, because your link monsters are negated by the imping effect. So yeah, it was I thought I was going to lose the match because I opened up 3 Hero Lives, but it actually ended up coming in clutch, because like one of the things that a Hero Lives has on it is that you have to have no face-up monsters. So I think like at the point where I got 3 monsters out on the board, he did I summoned Vion off of Ferris. So I had like Stratos, Increase, and Vion on the board, and I still hadn't committed my normal summon yet, because I had summoned out the Stratos with a Hero Lives, and then I had discarded Shadow Mist with Ferris, which he actually like called by the grave on my Shadow Mist, so I didn't get that effect. And then I used Increase to special summon out Increase, and then I sent Mally, and then there's when he started doing stuff. So he ended up bouncing my Vion and my Mally back to the top of the deck, and then he used a trap to set my Stratos and my increase to the board. So now I have no face-up monsters on the board. I activated the Hero Lives again, special summoned out Stratos. I think I used his effect to go get the Liquid Soldier or something like that, but it didn't really matter. Oh no, I used it to go get Vion. Then I normal summoned Vion. I banished I think I banished my Ferris to add my Polymerization, which didn't even really matter. I tributed off, two of my face down monsters along with the Vion to special summon out my Plasma, use Plasma to absorb the Impin, and yeah, I won the game from there. Plasma is just like their demise because, it's normal summon effect, though. If he did have the continuous spell in hand, so if he could have drawn something that gave him an additional normal summon, he actually still could have got rid of the Plasma with the by tributing it with the continuous spell that he had. But luckily things didn't end up going that way, and even though my opening hand was really, really bad, I guess it turned out to be the perfect hand that I needed to open up with. And yeah, so that was pretty much my regional, how everything went. One of the things, Rivalry is gone now, but that card was really, really strong in the regional. The card was amazing. I don't regret playing 3 Vion, 3 Mass Change, really, really strong. I don't ever think it really came up. I got drolled a couple times here and there, but not significantly to the point where getting drolled cost me the game, because usually I like to play cross out Designator. I feel if there's a card that stops your entire turn, you probably want to be able to cross it out. But, I decided to try out Rivalry instead. And now with Rivalry gone, it's just would I do Spellbound? Probably. I don't know. I feel going first, our board is pretty strong. You're pretty much with Dark Law out there, DPE, the ability to pop, so many cards. I feel we just need to get to it. As long as you can get to your end board, you're most likely just winning the game. So, I don't know. That's just the way I feel about it. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know y'all's regional experiences, things how do y'all feel about, the ban list? How do y'all feel about Rivalry and Gozen being gone? Are you going to play Spellbound with Dark Angel now? Do those type of things. But, appreciate everybody for staying a while to listen, and I will catch y'all on the next visual.
My wingman, he come through, he level up, he go cool, he shining out and popping to over 9K, that's a breakthrough. We on top now, here's a look at